Africa has emerged as a key player in the geopolitical chessboard, capturing the attention of major powers such as China and Russia. The once dominant influence of the United States and Europe in the continent is gradually being challenged as new alliances and partnerships take center stage. This video delves into the intriguing phenomenon of China and Russia's increasing influence in Africa, exploring their strategies, motivations, and the implications for the established Western powers. Leaving us a like proves you like what we do here. Then be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notification to be notified of any recent video. Thank you. A shifting paradigm. China and Russia's collaborative approach. Recent developments signal a remarkable shift in the global balance of power as China and Russia forge a growing partnership in Africa. Rather than operating in isolation, these two countries are finding common ground and pursuing a shared agenda. The International Institute for Strategic Studies, ISS, highlights that the Sino-Russian collaboration in Africa represents a modus vivendi, a mutually beneficial coexistence that challenges traditional Western dominance. This partnership is exemplified by their involvement in the Middle East and North Africa, MENA region, which was once considered a sphere of influence for Western powers. China's Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, and Russia's diplomatic maneuverings have allowed them to effectively engage with African nations, expanding their geopolitical influence. China's assertive rise in Africa is largely attributed to its ambitious Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, a comprehensive infrastructure development project that aims to connect Asia, Europe, and Africa. The BRI's strategic importance cannot be underestimated, as it offers African nations the promise of economic growth, modernization, and connectivity. The China-Africa partnership is exemplified by substantial investments in critical sectors such as energy, transportation, and telecommunications. China's approach has been strategic and well-calibrated, tailored to the unique needs of each African country. By building ports, roads, and railways, China is creating physical and economic linkages that strengthen its presence across the continent. Russia's engagement in Africa is multifaceted, encompassing diplomatic, military, and economic dimensions. While its economic investments may not be as substantial as China's, Russia's strategic collaborations and arms sales have positioned it as an influential player in the region. The African continent presents Russia with opportunities to bolster its military presence and establish strategic footholds. The Russian government has been adept at leveraging its historical ties and providing military support to certain African countries. This approach not only enhances Russia's influence, but also helps secure its access to vital resources and markets. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine had ripple effects that reached the shores of Africa, altering the dynamics of international relations. 1 year after the onset of the conflict, the implications of Russia's actions were felt across the African continent. The United Nations notes that African countries have expressed concerns over the implications of the Ukraine crisis, particularly regarding global security and the potential for escalating conflicts. While Africa may seem distant from the immediate theater of the conflict, the interconnectedness of today's world means that events in one region can reverberate across others. African nations are recognizing the need to reassess their relationships with major powers and seek new opportunities for cooperation. China and Russia's growing influence in Africa brings both opportunities and challenges for the continent. On one hand, increased investment and infrastructure development contribute to economic growth and job creation. African nations can tap into China and Russia's technological expertise and capitalize on their interest in energy resources. However, these opportunities come with a caveat. Some critics argue that China's investment model may lead to debt dependency, and Russia's military engagement might exacerbate conflicts. African leaders must carefully navigate these dynamics to ensure that their countries benefit without compromising their sovereignty or long-term interests. As China and Russia deepen their engagement in Africa, traditional Western powers must adapt to this evolving landscape. Europe and the United States have long held significant influence in the continent, driven by historical ties, economic partnerships, and development aid. The rise of China and Russia necessitates a recalibration of Western strategies. To maintain relevance, Western powers should focus on forging stronger partnerships based on mutual respect and addressing Africa's evolving needs. This could involve investments in sustainable development, education, and healthcare, which align with the priorities of African nations. The growing influence of China and Russia in Africa has prompted Western powers to reassess their strategies and adapt to the changing dynamics. Historically, Europe and the United States have maintained significant economic, political, and cultural ties with African nations. However, the rise of alternative partners presents both challenges and opportunities for these Western players. Economic competition. China's Belt and Road Initiative has led to substantial infrastructure investments across Africa, providing tangible benefits to local economies. European and American companies must now compete with Chinese firms for lucrative contracts and business opportunities. To remain competitive, Western corporations may need to focus on innovation, technology transfer, and sustainable business practices. Diplomatic engagement. Russia's diplomatic efforts in Africa have allowed it to cultivate relationships with various countries, challenging Western diplomatic influence. Western powers should prioritize diplomatic engagement that resonates with African nations' aspirations. This could involve enhanced dialogue, collaboration on regional security issues, and support for African-led initiatives. Development aid. Traditional Western development aid has played a vital role in Africa's progress, focusing on education, healthcare, and poverty reduction. To counter the allure of Chinese investments, Western countries can leverage their expertise in sustainable development to offer comprehensive aid packages that address both immediate needs and long-term growth. Cultural exchanges. The soft power of Western culture, including education, media, and entertainment, has had a lasting impact on African societies. Western powers can strengthen their influence by promoting cultural exchanges, educational partnerships, and people-to-people connections, fostering mutual understanding and cooperation. Lastly, security and stability. Russia's involvement in arms sales and military partnerships in Africa has significant implications for regional security and stability. Western powers should focus on supporting local security initiatives, peacekeeping efforts, and conflict resolution mechanisms to ensure that stability remains a priority. What are the opportunities for this collaborative diplomacy? Amidst the challenges posed by China and Russia's ascendance, there is an opportunity for Western powers, China and Russia, to engage in collaborative diplomacy that benefits Africa's development and stability. A cooperative approach can harness the strengths of each player and address complex challenges such as climate change, pandemic preparedness, and terrorism. Firstly, multilateral engagement. Multilateral institutions such as the United Nations and African Union provide platforms for dialogue and cooperation. Western powers, China and Russia, can collaborate within these frameworks to address common challenges, share best practices, and coordinate development efforts. 2. Capacity building. Western powers possess substantial expertise in areas such as governance, public health, and education. Collaborative initiatives that focus on capacity building can empower African nations to address their own challenges and contribute to global stability. 3. Investment in sustainable development. Western powers, China and Russia, can collectively invest in sustainable development projects that prioritize environmental protection, renewable energy, and responsible resource management. This approach not only supports Africa's development goals, but also addresses global concerns. 4. Conflict resolution. Given Russia's involvement in arms sales and potential military engagements, collaboration between Western powers, China and Russia, can play a pivotal role in preventing and resolving conflicts. Diplomatic efforts to mediate disputes and promote peaceful resolutions are crucial for the continent's stability. And now let's hear from you in the comments section. If you enjoyed today's content, then leave us a like, subscribe, and ensure the bell notification is on to be notified of our recent content. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.